And we're back.
Wow.
That's a great show.
It was.
But this half hour is going to even be better.
This is a very important topic to most people.
Exactly, because our demographics of our show is like 45 plus.
Yes.
And
the hosts. 45 plus.
Rene, I know where you live.
I said hosts, both.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear the plural on the end.
Okay.
So this is the Ask the Expert show. What we do is we do shows with some of the biggest, the best experts in South
The
Florida.
top experts in the field.
And here at WNN, we're known as the Health and Wealth Station. So this is just perfect for our audience. We're going to talk about hearing aids and hearing loss. And this is from a company that I've actually done business with in the past. So they're very reputable. And we want to say hello to Ali today, too, if he's listening.
Yes, hello.
So let's introduce our first guest, our only guest. The name of your practice is
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth?
Labyrinth Audiology.
Audiology.
In
Yes.
Boca Raton, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and you're right across the street from FAU.
Correct.
Yes, so let's
So that's
welcome
easy.
Vicki Ladone.
Hi.
Hi,
thank
Vicki.
you.
How you
Good to see
doing?
you.
Doing well.
So we've got so many questions for you. I mean, I know, listen, there's so many.
We get so many emails about
Emails.
hearing loss, and so this is a perfect topic.
Great.
And if you want to watch right now, watch us live. We're at www.wwnnradio.com. When you go to the homepage, click on the left-hand side.
The
it says
WNN TV, and voila, there we are.
Perfect.
So tell everybody about your practice.
So, Labyrinth Audiology is an audiology practice that focuses on the hearing health care of adults, and we also do see children. We focus on patients who have problems with hearing loss, problems with ringing in their ears, which is also known as tinnitus. We also see patients who have balance or vertigo problems, or even patients who have sensitivity to sounds.
Are
And
there
vertigo,
some-
I just want to say something. Vertigo is very prevalent also, because I know a couple of people that have already had that. So explain to people what vertigo is, for those of people that don't know.
Yeah, so a lot of people just have balance problems, so they can feel that they're off balance, they have lightheadedness, or just kind of a sense of dizziness. Vertigo is a sense of like a true spinning of the room, where you kind of just can't control the situation at all, where you feel like you might fall to the ground.
So that has to do with hearing?
It can. It doesn't always, and that's part of the process that we do. We focus on testing to see, is it an ear problem causing this symptom, or is it something that
Right,
we
because
need
it
to
could be
investigate
inner ear,
further?
like an inner ear problem.
It could be an inner ear problem, and it could be something else. And a lot of the times we just want to determine what is causing it so that we can help the patient,
Okay.
get
Tell
better.
everybody a little bit about your background.
Yes, your education.
So I got my bachelor's in communication sciences and disorders at the University of Florida, and then I'm a lifelong Gator, so I stayed there for my graduate program. I got my doctorate in audiology also from the University of Florida.
Do all these hearing aid stores you see around town, do they all have audiologists? Or that's a specialty when you're an audiologist?
It is.
Which is what you are.
Correct.
Okay.
I can't really speak for them to know what exactly, the providers are in those settings. Sometimes there are audiologists, and the degree after your name, if you're an audiologist, is an AUD. But sometimes people can be dispensers. They have training in only working with hearing aids. So it could be a little
I
bit
want an
different.
audiologist.
I was just about to say that, yes.
Audiologist. Let's start off with some of the most common signs of hearing loss.
Yes. A lot of times our patients, come to us because they say, my family tells me I repeat a lot, or my family and friends tell me I don't hear well. And then they say to me, I hear well, I just don't understand, or things aren't clear. So that's a big sign. Being able to hear but having clarity issues is really a common sign for certain kinds of hearing losses. Also, turning the volume up on the TV maybe more than the other people in the room would like, so that's also a common problem. Sometimes, because you have problems with clarity, you can become very reclusive and kind of not want to engage in social activities like you used to, so I would say that's also a pretty common
How do you
sign.
treat that when people don't have the clarity? They can hear, but they don't understand.
So that kind of report from a patient is very characteristic of something called sensory neural hearing loss, specifically in the higher pitches. So we test a wide range of pitches that are important for speech understanding. A lot of the times when people have age-related or maybe noise exposure as the reason for their hearing loss, they can have really good hearing in one part in the lower pitches and not really good hearing in the higher pitches.
So does
that
a hearing aid help that?
Yeah, so the hearing aid will focus on exactly what each individual person's hearing loss is like. So it's not going to take what they don't need louder. It's just going to take what they need to, a better hearing level.
Okay,
Sure.
I have a
Sure,
question.
for
Wait a
hearing
second.
loss?
I have a question. If you sleep during the night and you have headphones, if you're listening to talk radio throughout the night, can that cause a hearing problem? If you
Through-
have
are you wearing headphones?
throughout the night, earbuds, would that cause a certain amount of hearing loss or hearing problems?
It could. Noise is interesting because it'll depend on how long you're listening and at what
throughout
level.
the entire evening.
Yeah, so it could. I would say, just try to listen at a pretty low to moderate level. If you're listening with headphones, whether it be music, radio, whatever it might be, and you can't hear what's going on around you,
Excuse me, what did you say?
exactly, then I would say that's a good rule of thumb
No,
to
because
say it's too loud.
Steve O, he sleeps all night with the earbuds in his ear with listening to talk radio.
I don't have it
Yeah.
on though.
And I've noticed, and I'm not joking, I've actually noticed a deterioration in his hearing because he tells me now, you hear how loud I talk, okay? I'm from New York.
Could you
I
speak
don't
up?
even know how to
Renee,
talk
can you
loud.
speak up a little bit, please?
He tells me that I'm starting to mumble. Now, I am never mumbling, okay?
Yeah, I would say that's one of those signs right there.
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Is there a cure for hearing loss?
For the hearing loss that we've been talking about so far, that sensory neural kind of hearing loss, the damage is really in the organ of hearing itself, and most of the time that's something we cannot fix, unfortunately. There are causes of hearing loss that can be fixed. Things like if you have a plug of wax in your ear. Sometimes people just develop excessive wax. They can feel like they have hearing loss. Once we take it out, it's better. Or an ear
Once you take the wax out?
Yes.
I think you need to go see Vicky.
No, but well,
Maybe there's a wax problem.
I mean, our office is pretty close.
Okay, exactly.
teaming up on me. But we were at a doctor's office one day, and I don't know how we were talking about cleaning ears out, and he said, "Do not use Q-tips."
Absolutely.
So how would you?
So how do you clean out your own ears?
Really would not advise patients or individuals to do that themselves. Our ears want to have wax. So
Okay.
a certain amount of wax is normal and actually beneficial to your ears. The problem arises when you have an overaccumulation and it keeps growing and growing
Building up.
on top, and it becomes almost like an earplug.
See, that's my problem. Clarity. So, but do you treat that also, though? Is there
Yes.
like a solution or something?
Yeah, we can, kind of investigate and see
Stuff
how
at the
much.
drugstores do not work. I can tell you that right now.
But let me
That
just
is a
ask you
waste of
this.
money.
My daughter has, for some reason, her ears always look waxy. I mean, actually, the wax comes out of her ears. So I take a Q-tip and I'll do the outer portions of it. So does that mean that she has to go to an ear doctor more often to see if there's wax buildup inside the ear?
I would say just whether it's her primary care doctor or an audiologist or nurse who can look in her ears, because even if you're using a little Q-tip on the outside, which I'm not going to recommend, but if you do, and you have some wax coming out, that doesn't mean there's a plug of
Otherwise, they'll
wax
report me
deep
at
in
the school
there.
for not taking care of my
You know
daughter.
what? What's going on
Yeah.
now? So, what are the benefits of a hearing aid?
So a hearing aid will allow someone to get access to where they're not hearing as well. They're not going to have all those sounds, like I said before, go up louder. 20 years ago or whenever hearing aids didn't have the sophistication of today. What they did is they took everything louder. That's not what they do now. They're really focused on what your hearing loss may be, what your hearing loss may be, what my hearing loss may be. So because of that, it helps that clarity issue for people who have that clarity issue. It helps bring access to sound in the areas they're not hearing as well, and then that lets them work less at hearing, so they can be less fatigued at the end of the day, less strained in trying to communicate with their family and friends. they can finally turn their TVs down to a more comfortable volume for everyone listening. They
Are
can.
the hearing aids visible though? Because I know a lot of people. That's another thing. It's vanity purposes. They don't want
Right.
to have that. Because I know sometimes you see people with the hearing aids. Do you have hearing aids that are also not as visible?
Yes, there's all different kinds of styles, and for the most part, it doesn't really depend what your hearing loss is like to decide on the style. So if cosmetics and vanity is an issue for you, and your hearing loss is appropriate for those kinds of devices, absolutely, we do have devices that are invisible or nearly invisible to
I've
people.
actually read about a lot of these.
No, that's a
invisible-
wonderful thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's incredible. Listen, with the age group of our audience, it's probably like 45 plus. I would think hearing loss, hearing aids is just the most important topic. Plus, we've gotten all those emails going, how come you don't do a hearing loss show? I don't know how that happened.
It's a huge topic. It really is, and it affects most people.
Yeah, and it's a topic that unfortunately a lot of times people are embarrassed to talk about, and they're
Well,
embarrassed to
right.
tell
That's
people
why I was
that
saying
they
about
have
the hearing aids.
problem.
A lot of people don't want those to be visible, but now that they're making them, that you can't even see them, there's no excuse if you're having
Yeah.
some sort of hearing problem.
Yeah, and I think when you think of like your traditional hearing aid, it's a big, bulky
Yes.
kind of beige
Exactly.
thing in your ear. That's really not.
That's
They
old
can
school.
look like that. They can still look like that, but a lot of the styles today are really, discreet and really attractive, kind of.
So mostly all the different styles all do the same thing. It's just a matter of your personal preference then.
Yeah, sometimes, someone might want something very discreet and they might have a really severe hearing loss, so that might not be the best option. So it's dependent on a few factors. But for the most part, we can, accommodate people with vanity concerns.
Now, the ringing and the buzzing in the ears, what is that?
That's something called tinnitus. So that's...
You treat that.
Yes, we do.
Good.
It's
Can you
something...
cure that? You could actually cure that?
It's hard to use the word cure, but it's something that we can definitely manage.
Right.
So it's basically a sound that only that individual can hear, and most of the time is a sign of hearing loss. It can be the result of noise damage. So even people with normal hearing can have that tinnitus sound. Sometimes you might go to a concert or a loud something, and you get home that night and you hear that ringing in your
Yes.
ears, but it goes away. A lot of times patients, it doesn't go away, so it can become a really frustrating thing. The best kind of tools and things that we can do to help that is something called sound therapy. So
Which is what?
basically training your brain to become more accustomed to that sound by listening to pleasant sounds. So it could be something like the shower noise or beach waves or crickets in the grass, whatever kind of pleasant noise it might be. And sometimes even just hearing aids can help. Just giving your brain actual stimulation that's real can help people perceive that ringing less.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you treat children also, right?
We do see children,
What kind of problems do you see with children?
with children, any age person can have hearing loss. When I was in my graduate program, I tested newborn babies' hearings, and we
And the pediatricians,
diagnosed-
they will test the children. They do
Yes.
the tympanograms.
Yes. So we can do certain tests on kids to kind of evaluate what their hearing is like, and unfortunately sometimes kids just for whatever reason might have a hearing loss, and it could be something that is permanent. It could be something, maybe they have chronic ear infection, so they need to be followed regularly by an ENT doctor,
Right,
things
which is
like
not
that.
unusual. You see that a lot.
Exactly.
Tell us everything you treat at the clinic.
Okay. Well, primarily hearing loss, tinnitus, and balance patients. We do have a small but prominent group of patients that have other concerns. One of them being hyperacusis, which is a sensitivity to normal level sounds and loud level sounds, and usually those sounds are high pitched and bothersome to the patient. We also see a few patients with something that's pretty unique called misophonia, and that's actually kind of a dislike or a hatred of certain sounds. And those sounds are things that you
Like
or I.
Rene yelling at me? Would that come into it?
You don't even hear me anymore.
Huh? What?
You're going to go see Vicky after the show for a hearing aid.
Yeah, but patients with misophonia, the things that bother them or they get this adverse reaction to are things that you or I may not even realize, like chewing gum, chewing
Wow.
food.
Smacking gum.
tapping a pen on the table. Very soft, very discreet level sounds. And for some reason, their processing in their brain is causing this adverse reaction. So sound therapy is another, method of helping patients,
I
get
love
through
that. I
that.
think that's great.
How
Yeah.
do you treat that, though?
We want to make this sound something that's more acceptable to them.
You can do
So
that?
with the sound therapy, by giving them pleasant sounds, by giving them something that they can handle, and tying it with those non-pleasant sounds, we kind of train the brain to recognize that this is okay and this is
It's
not
amazing
something
what you
that's
could do.
bothersome. And we also, with these patients, we like to work with other disciplines and sometimes psychologists or their primary care doctors, just to kind of get the patient the most care that they need.
So let's give everybody your phone number again and where you're located at, because now we've really got their attention now. Because you're so easy to find. I mean, you're just
We are,
you're
yeah.
right off of 95.
We are right off of 95. You just head east, and we're right across the street from Florida Atlantic University off Glades Road at
Are you in that
Northwest
big
10.
center over there where Whole Foods is?
We are just a little bit more east than that. So probably the next traffic light after
Oh,
that,
okay.
Northwest 10th
So you're by the
Avenue.
hospital then.
Yeah, we're close to the hospital.
Okay. And the address again is?
It's 1500 Northwest 10th Avenue. We're in Suite 104, and we're in Boca, and the zip code is 33486.
And you have a website?
We do. Our website is labyrinthaudiology.com, and that's LABYRINTH audiology.com.
And they can contact you through the website as well.
Through the website, and our phone number is 561-807-7873.
And you're a doctor of audiology.
Correct, yes.
Okay. And I just want to tell you that you wrote Judy is a doctor, and it's Vicky.
I did?
He's trying to mess me up, Vicky, okay? I'm already making an
I wasn't
appointment
in
for you.
on it.
What?
This is what you
and I
try to
have
do lately.
Gone back and forth so many times. Does that have anything to do with hearing?
Yes, it does.
Wow.
He needs to go for a vision screening as well.
It's funny when you were talking about sensitivity. Some of my relatives in Dallas have told me that they've had problems with sensitivity,
Is that
but they
something-
didn't know what to do. They didn't know if to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, to go to an audiologist.
Let me ask you something. Is hearing loss, is that something that's passed down through generations, or is it hereditary?
It can be. A lot of the times we can't tell you why you have hearing loss. Sometimes we know you had this traumatic noise exposure, like let's say a gunshot, and we can say that is what caused this
Right.
hearing loss. A lot of the times we can't. A lot of the times we do know it's genetic, and most of the time it's a combination of many things. So it could be genetic, it could be some noise related, history, a lot of concerts growing up, things like that. Medications can affect your hearing as well. So a lot of things can kind of play a part.
Are hearing aids compatible with cell phones, televisions?
Yes, they
Okay.
can be. So I like to tell patients that hearing aids are basically like mini computers on your ears, which is pretty cool. And they have the capability of working with your TV, your cell phone. They usually do that through Bluetooth connection. So, for example, working with your cell phone, you can be wearing your hearing aids. You can get a call in the phone's in your purse on the floor, and you can answer the call with a little device that you wear around your neck that connects to the
So you don't
hearing
even
aids
have to
wirelessly.
pick up the actual phone.
Right, you don't even have to pick up the phone, and you hear the call through both
That's
ears,
amazing.
which I think is the best part, because when you're listening with both ears, you're going to understand what's being heard better anyway. So it's pretty cool what the hearing aids today can do.
The technology is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a price range from about low end to high end?
Yeah, hearing aids can have a wide range of prices. On the lower end, based on their technology, I would say maybe about $2,500 to about $3,000 for the pair, and they can be up to about $6,500 for a
Wow.
pair.
Does insurance cover that? Does any insurance cover for hearing aids?
I will say Medicare does not cover the cost of hearing aids.
But
Why?
how about private insurances?
Some private insurances do. So I would say if you do have a private or a secondary insurance, to investigate with them, because a lot of the times I do see that patients do get, a percentage covered or up to a certain amount or even 100% coverage. So it's worth investigating.
Absolutely,
For sure.
yeah.
So now you provide hearing test.
Yes, we do.
Is there a charge for that?
There are. So, if you have Medicare, as long as we, have a referral from your physician and we get the appointment schedule, that is no cost, absolutely no cost to you.
What are your hours?
We are open 8:30 to about 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
I bet they don't get out of there on time. I bet they stay later. Just sometimes if
I think they'll
comes
be
a
happy
little
to
bit
stay.
late.
I
If
was
they have
I was
patience.
pushing it getting here.
This is Friday. Now, are you open on Saturdays and Sundays?
We are not, but we've definitely accommodated patients who can't make it Monday through Friday. We can definitely,
So you'll
do
open
something.
up to somebody if
we
they
can do
can't
that.
make it throughout the
Yes,
week, which is
yes.
very nice.
Yes, we can do that. Sometimes, we'll see patients earlier than 8:30 or later than 5 if that's the only thing that they can do.
Do you ever run promotions at all?
We do run promotions. A lot of the times we do open houses with certain manufacturers or companies. And
Have anything coming up that we can tell everybody about?
let's see. We do have something coming up with one manufacturer, and I believe the dates are October 20th, 21st, 22nd.
And which is what? What's the special that you have?
The company is a company called Starkey, and they're one of the top
Oh, yeah.
manufacturers.
Of course I've heard Starkey,
Yeah,
yes.
so we're having one of their top audiologists come in and showcase some products. So we're running some promotions.
Did you write down a date for yourself?
Sure. Right?
I'm just saying.
If I could understand and hear the words you were saying right now, I might not
You
be
just
very
hear me
happy.
through the mic because you have double headphones on.
Is there a hearing loss problem when you tune somebody out?
That might be something you need to talk to like a therapist
Oh,
about or something.
Speak to Dr. Laura.
Dr. Laura, that's right. That is so cool. So give everybody, again, we want to make sure, listen, write this phone number down, because when you start thinking you might have some type of hearing loss,
Or just get checked out if you
don't
start.
Google it. We've got
Yes.
the best right here.
And again, you want to go to an audiologist, and you want to go to
Definitely.
a professional, because anybody could tell you that you need a hearing aid. And you want to make sure that you're getting fitted and you're
Absolutely.
getting the best hearing aid.
And you know what? A hearing aid is not the only solution for
Right.
hearing problems, and I think that's one of the biggest differences with our clinic too. We want to just see what are your individual needs, what are your problems, what can we do to help you. So hearing aids are one part, but it could be just communicating with your family and friends and with you and giving you some tips and strategies on how to actually just communicate better. A lot of people think, well, you're yelling at me from the kitchen and I expect to hear you. Well, that's not realistic. So things like that.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Is there a different treatment when it comes to children? Because typically you don't see children with hearing aids, but I know a lot of kids suffer, especially after having chronic ear infections. Sometimes
Yes.
they end up having some hearing loss.
Right.
So let's talk about that for a
hearing
moment.
loss relating to like an ear infection is usually something medically managed and an ENT can resolve and make better. It's more the kids who have that sensory neural kind of hearing loss where the damage is in the inner ear itself and is not going to get better. So hearing aids are a great option for kids. The sooner the better that we can get that on a kid, the close to normal hearing they're going to have. So, if you're a parent listening and you have a young kid who you're having concerns about their hearing or speech or language development, do not hesitate to call your doctor, because the sooner you take action and we, can determine if something
And they should
is
be
wrong.
tested, absolutely, because
Exactly.
speech is definitely the factor. I mean, if you see that your
Exactly.
child's having a hard time
Exactly.
communicating,
Yeah,
you should
so if your
definitely
kid
take
is
them.
getting speech therapy or if you have any concerns, they definitely should have a hearing test done just so they can, rule that out as a factor.
Tell us some manufacturers that you carry.
Yeah, so we work with a lot of the top if not all the top
Well, Starkey,
manufacturers.
yes.
So
I mean, that's big.
Starkey is one of them. Oticon, Phonak, Siemens, Widex, Resound.
So you carry
right,
almost
these are
all
the top brands.
Yes, yeah. There's not one company that I know of that we don't work with.
Wow. So now we're bringing you someone who's so easy to get to from this area. I mean, you're right off of 95, and you're on Glades.
Yeah,
We know that area. We
You think?
yeah, we should definitely know that area. So you're easy to find, and you've got such a great reputation.
Oh, thank you.
So you don't have to go through Is there a phone book anymore? Do they even have
You
those?
always ask that. Most people just Google it. That's why I
Yeah.
give your website address again, so people, if they want information, I'm sure they could get information off your website as well.
Correct. Yes, and we're also on Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook, on our website or Facebook. We, will give information about any of our open houses or promotions that we're having.
And
Okay.
also, if you want to go back and watch today's show, you can either go to
NN Radio.
radio.com, and when you go on the homepage on the left-hand side, it says WNN TV. Click there, and you can actually watch today's show. And I think you're going to have it up on your website. I think.
Yes, we
That's
will.
eventually.
wonderful.
'Cause there
Okay,
was
so
so
give
much
your
great
phone number.
information
Yeah, give your
today.
phone number again
Okay.
before we go up.
Yes, our phone number again is 561-807-7873.
And your address, one more time.
www.labyrinthaudiology.com. Or you
Perfect.
can find us on Facebook.
So I'm telling you, when we
This
go-
is the place to go.
This is But what I'm telling you is, our show is about bringing you the best. Okay, so you don't have to worry about who out there. Who should I go look for? Listen, you are like throwing darts when you do something like that. So here is a very reputable company, Labyrinth Audiology, and call them if you or a family member. Don't be embarrassed.
If you have any
I'm
concerns.
not embarrassed. I'm just gonna kick
You're
Renee's
going.
butt when I get
And
back.
now you're going to see Vicky. Anyway, thank you,
so
Vicky,
much
for
Yeah,
coming on
thank you
today.
for having us.
We loved
Thanks.
having you on.
Yeah.
Okay, and join us this Monday from 4 to 5 when we have one of the top criminal attorneys and a top tax relief.
Flying all the way
Yes,
in from Houston.
I'm really excited about the show Monday.
Taxation Solutions.
Yeah, he's a
if you
specialist
have-
in the country.
Absolutely. So, everybody have a great weekend. Peace and love.
We're out.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show with Steve O and Rene. Tune in every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its host, guests, and